Hello and welcome to episode 6 of season 2 of Hashing It Out with Paul Hash. I'm Paul Hash and this is the show where I ask the questions everybody forgot to ask. Today's guest, Iggy Pop. So don't be a stooge because I want to be your dog and take a walk down to meet the grandfather of punk, Iggy Pop. Iggy, tell me how it was growing up in Detroit in the early 60s with a heroin addiction.
The weapons were getting heavier, food was getting heavier, the cars were getting heavier.
Talk to me about the emerging population of child rodeo clowns in America back in the 70s.
And in America at least, the population was becoming unleashed. It was probably the freest population of young people in world history.
Iggy, I was born in 1965. That very same year you turned 18 and immediately found work as a shredded cheese historian. How did you luck into that?
Yeah, when I was 18 in 1965, if you wanted a job, you just looked in the paper and then you went to 2 or 3 places and took your pick. I mean, it was nothing. Yeah. It was nothing.
Snips and snails and puppy dog tails. That's what little boys are made of. What are little girls made of?
So, I think a combination of I think this combination of insidious material stresses.
You were suspended from orchestra in junior high when a loaded .38 handgun mysteriously fell out of your pocket. Is that true?
I learned to play drums in the school orchestra, and by the time I was 13 I had my own kit, and I realized, whoa, I've got a weapon.
Iggy, what did you think when Captain Crunchberries introduced their new All Berries cereal?
And that just made me feel like it had an inner unstated message.
What did you think it was about yourself that helped you land a recurring role on the children's show Sesame Street?
The ability to assert myself in a primal way.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. Some children may want to be a cowboy or a fireman. What did you aspire to be when you were a toddler?
To take the sex when I wanted it, to take money when I wanted it, but ignore the larger, forget about it, to be somebody.
You were fired from the Beach Boys for allegedly rolling in broken glass and exposing yourself. Outside of that incident, how would you describe them as a band?
A phony, hierarchical movement that produced some of the worst music in popular history.
In 2010, you and the Stooges were finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How was that experience?
And it was enough to nauseate any young person with self-respect and who aspired to any taste whatsoever.
Somewhere in the mid-70s, you and your band were paid a surprise visit at your studio by the IRS. Tell me about that.
All of a sudden, in about 1975, in came this bunch of guys, and they had baseball caps, shorter hair, big thick necks. They were like on the football team in high school, but not in college.
Iggy, I love you and the Stooges, but I gotta say that Aerosmith has always been one of my favorite bands. What are your thoughts on those guys?
Yeah. God, I hate those pricks. And they took over, and they pretty much, they had 25 years, and they made a lot of money out of ruining American music and rejecting the good music in favor of the shit until about the year 2000.
Okay, thanks for joining me again on Hashing It Out with Paul Hash. I'm Paul Hash, and this is the show where I ask the questions everybody forgot to ask. All you sports fans will want to tune in next time when my guest will be Phoenix Suns legend Charles Barkley. Till then, stay cool.
Excuse me.